Dice Age is made possible thanks to our wonderful subscribers and especially to our patrons. We'd especially like to thank our living legend, Taxtic. Thank you again, and enjoy the show.
The Empire of Maca has existed for nearly 1,000 years. Founded and ruled by Ava the Main, the immortal empress, it quickly expanded its borders thanks to the overwhelming power of its mages and the shrewd politics of its nobles. Now it has fully conquered the centre of the continent of Elmera, and although war has ended, peace still eludes its populace. As the Empire nears its first millennia, the signs of turmoil have become more frequent and apparent. Monsters are becoming more bold, nobles plot schemes of usurpation, and whispers of rebellion hang heavy in the slums. This gave rise to the adventurer. These strong individuals of all races and classes lend their might to the citizens of Maca to drive back monstrous incursions. There are even adventurers who perform deeds so noble that the people can see beyond their race to the hero that lies within. There are those who criticise these adventurers and claim they're nothing more than pawns used to advance the political machinations of nobles. Despite the immortal Empress herself making fewer and fewer appearances, there are those whose faith in the Empire remains unshaken. But the wise know that it only takes a few sparks to ignite the flames of change. Allow me to introduce you to these sparks. Welcome to Elmera.
Hello and welcome to Dice Age, our real play D&D show. My name is Jack and I'm your dungeon master. Join with me as always are our wonderful adventurers. Would you all go around and introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm AJ and I'm playing Edgar Wood, the half-elf blood hunter.
Hi, I'm Alice Rose and I play T, the elven sorceress.
Hello, I am Mitchell and I play Essa Reyes, the human rogue.
Hi, I'm Zach. I'm going to be playing Tauros, your tiefling paladin.
Hello, I'm Trey, and I will be playing Oberon, Perseus, Maximus, Germanius, Cornelius, Alexander, Claudius, the second, your drow fighter.
All right, and AJ, I think you said you had a little update for us on our...
All right. You nerds are gonna need to shut up. It's Stu, the bad dragon. It's me. We're all here. Let the real criminals handle this little issue of ours, all right? Is that cool? All right, Waffle. I'll throw it to you first. You got any ideas for dealing with our detective problem?
I do indeed. I say we lure the idiot in, convincing him that we mean no harm, like Edgar and T walking into the monstrous group's camps. Tell him we're trying to be friends, though if he's anything like Planin's daughter for more, Mr. Obidius might be a bit of an asshole.
All right. That's a good start, but what are we going to do when we got him? Tootsie, you got any ideas?
I say we just go for the kill. Kind of like what Edgar admitted to doing at Fort Dargan to the goblin clan called the Red Claws. Remember when those assholes killed all the goblins way back?
Indeed, it was a glorious display of death. Arcanath Valerian, Titanax, fourth of his name, approves. I also approve of anything with Oberon, since he too has a long last name. It was nice to see him and Tauros have genuine conversation that helped build their relationship.
Hey, Arky, this is not a recap. I think we're all pretty tired of these shitty recaps, no? Let's get back to criming. Dad, where the fuck is my dad?
Oh, your dad said he wanted to make a quick trip to Dread, Wrath, and Beyond. Says he was inspired by the threat of war that was raised by the Monsters Group being located in the Empire. Was a little disappointed that Planin agreed to leave before the arrival of the Adventure Group led by Oberon's group, which is in, 3 days?
Guys, stop recapping. Tootsie, please give me something good.
I got you. What if we get this group to admit to all the crimes they did? Then maybe Tego Biddies will tell us they either get executed or gives us an out where we work with him to go against the Empire.
What?
Shit, sorry. That's what happened in the last episode of Dice Age. Sorry, boss. I didn't mean to recap. Maybe there's a gas leak in here or something.
Ah, a gas leak. Perhaps we trapped the detective in a room and pump a full of terrible deadly gas.
Now we're talking.
Indeed. If it doesn't kill him, at least it will create an incredibly awkward situation, much like when Edgar and T reported back to their group to share what happened and how Edgar must tell Planin if he wishes to stand trial tomorrow morning. At the same time, they were meant to leave with Micah back to Avon.
God damn it, guys. We're the cool kobolds, not a bunch of nerds. All right, we all need to have a talk.
A talk?
Yeah, kind of like the one Edgar and Oberon are about to have after their insanely intense conversation about what Edgar should do if he should turn himself in. Ah, fuck, I did it too.
Hey, Stu, I don't want to interrupt your recap.
Not a recap.
Right, but we just got an email. It's a picture of your dad being held hostage. Looks like he's in the same room as Oddgear. Jeez, it's Tiggo Bitties. He says we have to meet up next time.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
This is unfortunate.
this is an unfortunate development, but we'll have to worry about that next time because right now we're returning to the world of Elmera. So we are back at the inn in Ella Creek. Oberon and Edgar just had a bit of a shouting match, and now they're about to have a private shouting match.
And apologies in advance. AJ is dealing with post-COVID, so we'll survive.
You will.
Edgar will probably lead us into whatever room Edgar was going to sleep in for the night. Just drop all of his shit off and then just kind of stare at Oberon for a second. All right. The rest of the group isn't here, so let's just get this shit out there, all right? I'm not backing up on anything that I said. But after all the shit that we've been through, I at least owe it to you to give you the space to really tell me what you want. Tell me how you feel about it.
Oberon's just got like a very unreadable expression on his face for a second, and he's just like doesn't really pace, but kind of just like crosses his arms, begins like shifting his weight, and just this isn't. I understand that you feel like this is what you need to do. The only thing that this will do is like just struggling to get the words. If you think that somebody needs to pay for what happened to them, why does it have to be you?
Who else, Oberon? We killed the one other guy that was actually responsible for this shit. I'm not trying to throw anyone else in this group under the bus if I can help it.
No, you just plan on driving yourself.
I don't know what a bus is. I don't know what I refer to in that context, but
You plan on simply throwing yourself on the sword.
I just don't want them to feel like there aren't people in the Empire who are willing to see them as people.
And you having this discussion proves that there are. That's it. There are. You don't need to make yourself some grand martyr just because of a terrible act.
I need you to be honest with me. Do you feel bad about it? Does it bother you? What happened there?
It He gets a really like conflicted look on his face. Not in this, just in like a that he's trying to pick his words very carefully here.
There's no one else here, all right? For 1 second before whatever the fuck happens tomorrow. Can we talk like there aren't all these fucking walls around us? I'm gonna lay everything that I can out here if I can. And I want you to do the same like I know we could when we were younger. So I'll ask again, Oberon. Does it hurt when you think about them?
Yes. But not for the reason that you might think. It hurts knowing that that mission, their lives, they've caused us to change irreparably, caused our past to change. I do feel no joy from what we did. But what we did in that moment, we were assigned a mission. Once we realized the consequences of our actions, we did what we could to make it better, to do what we could to save them. I regret doing that, but it does not haunt me at night.
Edgar was insanely tense through a lot of it, and I think after that, a decent chunk of the tension lifts. I don't know if you've realized it, Oberon, but you have changed a lot since we started with this group. You're still obstinate as fuck, stubborn, and think you know everything. But maybe I just didn't notice it before, but you seem to be listening to other people. And I'm really happy to hear that. And so I hope this comes crystal clear when I say this. I don't think I can go back to the Empire. Or at the very least, if we go back and we finish this job, I don't think I'm staying in the Empire. Whether that is working for Planin and them or not, I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of this Empire. All the shit we've been put through. I just found out there's a chance that my family is somewhere out there. Planin's met people with the same last name that my Asori heritage is. And the idea of leaving just seems right.
You have to consider that he could be lying to you. I understand the want to grasp onto anything, but you have to consider that. You can't just blindly rush in having known this person a day.
Oberon, I was gonna leave the Empire anyway. I'm sorry, but I've been thinking about this for a while. The fact that I might get all of you in danger, all my mom, my old friends, by being associated and staying in the Empire. I don't know if I can stay. I don't want to stay. And Edgar is visibly just trying to look and get something out of Oberon from that.
Oberon gives like just a deep sigh. Just grasping for the first thread that comes your way with a semi-tangible lead.
It's a lead. It's something. The first random rumor we got of Asori led me to the first two Asori I've ever met in my life.
And also potentially led you to your death tomorrow.
Possibly. But that was a lot on me. Entirely on me. I don't want to die, Oberon. And Edgar, like, pauses for a second as he thinks. Fuck it. I've been okay with dying ever since I found out I'm an Asori. And he just, like, takes a second and realizes what he says, and he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm heading towards, and I know damn well my mouth is going to get me in trouble at some point, more than it already has. And I'm scared of what being connected to me will do to you. To the group, yeah. But I don't want it to fuck you up. That's why I've said it before. Kind of hoping you would leave, but you wouldn't fucking leave. I don't want to be the reason any of you die. I don't want to be the reason any of you can't live the lives you want to live. I don't want you to be left completely alone. When I think out of all of us, you're the only one who knows damn well what you're going back to.
Oberon at this point has like just kind of like hands clenched at the side. I don't know. God damn it! And he just like as hard as he can, just like punches the wall of the inn. Why? Why did it have to be like this? It didn't. It didn't have to. It could have just stayed how it was. We could have just grabbed the damn kid and left.
I know.
But you were never planning on coming back. At least not fully.
I don't think I was.
And be honest with me. Look me in the eyes. Would you, if this confrontation hadn't have happened, if you had just gone, met them, come back, and we had never talked about this, would you have been fine just staying while we all left?
I don't think I would have. I think I would have said I needed to. I think I'd been like, no, this is the right thing to do. But out of all of the fucking things that have been happening, just talking to all of you, Tauros and Essa, what they said and what T said to me beforehand, I don't want to lose this group. I really, really don't. And I think part of me in the heat of the moment, if we were still in that room and we were arguing and I just said it, then I would have stuck to it because I'm a stubborn asshole. But I wouldn't have been happy with it. I don't want to stop adventuring with this group, Oberon. I don't think you do either.
We were supposed to just get this done. It was supposed to just, after this, we'd have what we needed. We'd have what we needed to get Ward off our back for a while. We could have done anything.
I know. And I'm sorry. But I could not kept it the way it was, Oberon. I wish you saw the kids. I wish you could have been there to see what's left, what was lost. But also see that there were people who didn't give a fuck, who were willing to risk possibly getting into battles, getting into a war, but knew that something needed to be done to defend them, that things like this can't keep happening. And I know you're not wrong in saying I shouldn't trust Planin or their group. But from what I saw from that guy, he knows a lot. He's seen some shit. And he knows what risks he's taking. But he's just trying to do what's right. And I think that's what we've been trying to do too. I don't know what I'm doing, man. I don't, and I know that. But I have to try.
I can't just... I want to be able to help you with this, Edgar, but I can't. I can't. If it comes down to it, in the end, Tauros, Essa, you, T even, you all have stakes in the Empire, little minor stakes in it. It's all I've known. It's all that I grew up with. If I abandon it, I'm not just abandoning my cozy life that most of you all seem to think that was just fed to me. I'm not just abandoning that. I'm abandoning my family. I'm abandoning Castor. I'm abandoning Annie. Now you're asking me to abandon you.
I wanted this to be a fight. Had a lot of moments, and I know you damn well have too, where if this had happened earlier, we would have fought. I don't think this room survives if that shit happens. But I'm sick of it, Oberon. I'm tired for a lot of different reasons from everything that's been happening. And I'm sick of the tension here. I don't want to take away anything from you. But I need you to recognize that I have shit that I need to do. And it's gonna be dumb and it's gonna be reckless. And for the longest time, even when we were kids, I'd come up with the dumb idea and you'd figure out a way to have it not get me or you killed. I don't know what I'm gonna do if you're not there. But I don't want to be living in a situation knowing everything that we know and just staying put in the Empire. I don't want you to lose everything that you have. And if I leave, I don't want you to think you've lost me.
Just when you plan on going tomorrow, do you plan on going alone?
If anyone goes, I think they have to be ready to either lie and say they weren't involved with Fort Durgan, or we'd have to do a hell of a job convincing them to just let me stand on trial on my own. They already know T, so I don't think it would hurt if T goes again, but I don't know. I can't tell you all what to do.
Understood. I wish it could have been different.
There's a very. I'm gonna roll a deception check with disadvantage.
Okay.
See what happens here.
2 nat 20s.
A 4.
Okay, my insight.
It
Wait, that was 2 GM.
was
Sorry,
2
let me make
DM,
that. It was a 22.
Okay.
I was gonna say
14,
you
which
have
is-
a +9 to insight.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a chance.
Yeah. Edgar really, really, really wants to say something.
You were never known to keep things to yourself. If this may very well be the last time that we potentially see each other. Be best if you got it off your chest now.
What I'm gonna say is in no way meant for you. I'm not trying to make you change your mind, okay? I'm not. And I need that to be damn clear before I say this. And the first thing I'm gonna ask you before I say anything else is, if I don't come back, I'm gonna tell my mom, but if you're still in the Empire, can you promise to just look out for her? If you're right about Mara and Ward, too, you are the only person I know I can trust in that Empire that isn't in the room next door.
I promise.
I had really hoped this would be a fight. But I get the feeling it might be now. Edgar sits down. I think he was standing up this entire time. He's just going to sit on the bed. Do you know why we stopped being friends?
It was that dumb argument, you being named my vassal.
It had a lot to do when your father, Wincaster, caught us. Hanging out, just being friends, just trying to be kids, enjoying life. And I thought for a while it was just because I wasn't a full elf. That's not fully why. Your dad recognized me. Or I should be more straightforward. He recognized my mom. I had wanted to use this to hurt you. I had always thought I would say it when you got me beat, when you're about to land some blow, and I just wanted to spit in your face and truly hurt you. But I'm going to say this now, because if this is the last time we're going to be in this group together, I need you to know RC30 is also my dad. We're half-brothers, Oberon.
Oberon looks like you just like punched him right in the face. Like he like just sits there, stands there.
I'm sorry. I would say that I wanted to tell you, and I did very early on, but when we got split up, when the wall formed between us, and I couldn't stand our dad, and I hated that I was on this side and you were on that, I never wanted you to know. Most of the time, I think because in actuality, I didn't want you to feel the hurt that I felt knowing that. And knowing we still couldn't be friends.
Oberon just like takes a second. I'm gonna roll something for him.
Is he gonna puke?
We'll see.
It's an interesting roll.
You'll see why.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell people what you rolled, Trey?
I just rolled a charisma save. That was a 9. You see Oberon, like, swiftly, his face goes from, like, dumbstruck to, like, oh, okay. But you can just see the cracks all over. I'm guessing that... Oh, what am I talking about? You said that this was something you've known for a while. Yeah. Yeah, say you're marching off to your death. And you just decide to drop that on me at this time.
Yeah. Not my brightest idea. Knowing there's a chance that I die, and knowing you're not as shitty of a person as I thought you were even a couple weeks ago. I just wanted you to know Even though for a lot of the time that we weren't friends, that I hated you, and I know you hated me. If anything happened to you or to Annie, I would have always been there. And if I'm still around, even if I'm not in the Empire, that doesn't change, Oberon.
As you say that, Oberon's face kind of like just cracks more and more until he finally just turns around and just goes, yeah. When we were apart, it was difficult. There were moments when I thought that you were being unreasonable. I thought you were just being the worst friend ever. But you're wrong about one thing. Even throughout your rightful disdain over nobility, over what I represented, I thought the world of you, Edgar. I could have never hated you. And I know you said that you were saving this for a moment when it would hurt most. I think you may have just gotten that. Take care, brother. You know, Oberon's just gonna walk out the door. What Edgar doesn't see though are just tears streaming down Oberon's face as he walks out.
Yeah, Edgar is a mess.
Oberon's going to take a moment to collect himself, though. Take a deep breath. And just march to the room where the other three are right now.
All right. So you three... I'm sure you heard when Oberon slammed his fist against the wall. Other than that, there's just been murmurs from the room next to you. And suddenly, is Oberon like throwing open the door to the room?
Not like throwing open, but it opens like with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, back so soon, huh?
I need your help.
Oh?
Yeah. Can we walk and talk for a second?
Sure. All of us?
No.
Oh. All right. Sure. She'll go with him.
Jack, is there any way that we can separate this from everybody else? Because I only want Alice to hear this.
Okay.
Ooh, T. Literally.
Everybody else could just deafen.
I was gonna say we can maybe hop down chat.
Or just deafen.
Or deafen.
Or deafen. Yeah, that works.
Mm-hmm. As Oberon is just walking, he eventually leads you, and he like walks out of the inn. Like he's like obviously like keeping pace with you, but he walks out of the inn, and he begins walking towards Micah's house.
Where are we going?
I left Woon on guard duty for Micah. I want to check up on.
Sure.
And
that's what you needed my help with?
No. What I need your help with is infinitely stupider.
My dear, that's my specialty.
But
are you okay? I can tell you're not, but are you okay?
I have a plan.
What's the plan?
Edgar doesn't die. And Edgar also doesn't sell his soul.
All right. I'm listening.
The reason that Planin has no issues with Edgar with putting Edgar on trial is simply due to the fact that he is, from his perspective, a random Asori from the Empire. Nothing major. Should he perish or should he turn against, should he be held prisoner, it's no skin off the Empire's back.
Yes.
Should a noble of House Claudius come forward and take responsibility, they would have to choose justice or war.
Oberon, I say this with a great amount of affection. You cannot be that stupid.
No. That's why I have this. And he reaches into his pouch and he pulls out a scroll. This is a scroll of sending.
And who are you sending?
I'm sending... And he takes just a deep breath and you see his body flinch. I'm sending this to the head of the Claudius family, Regulus Claudius I, right hand of the immortal empress, that his ascendant has been captured by a monstrous race outside of Ella Creek.
What? And you think that he won't bring the entire army here to dispatch of the monstrous races immediately?
It won't come to that.
How would it not? You ring RC-30 and tell him, hey, I got captured by monsters. Is he not immediately going to send a rescue crew?
Because I'm not going to tell him. I'm going to threaten them that I'm going to tell him. Or I should. And he takes a deep breath. I would ask that you send the message.
That I be the caster.
I do not have the magical capabilities to cast the spell. This is parchment in my hands. It won't come to that. If what you will say about Planin is true, he seems reasonable. He knows the results that this would bring.
He knows that it would decimate his people.
Very much.
So, what is it exactly that you want them to do in order for you to call off me? You have to be very specific in your demands.
Edgar leaves. He is free of all charges, as he was simply following a noble's orders and was under the threat of death when doing so. Should he will not stand trial. They will have the option to have me stand trial, but should they do so, the message will be sent. Instead, they will simply take knowing that the man who instigated the bloodshed was dealt with mercilessly, and that what survivors there are can live another day peacefully, as no additional reinforcements will be called to Ella Creek. I will even put in word that that there was no Osori activity in Ella Creek. It was simply a hoax rumor.
How are you going to get Edgar to agree to this?
I'm not.
You don't expect him to interfere?
He'll try.
And what? You'll subdue him?
If I have to.
I think this has good bones. I think that this is incredibly messy.
Jack, as this is happening, can I just do a quick peek around, make sure that nobody has followed us? So that nobody's like eavesdropping on us?
Yeah, go ahead. Give me a perception check.
Oh, that's an 11.
As far as you can tell, there's no one spying on you right now.
I will say, no one has captured Edgar. They can't let him go from anything. Are you thinking of letting the trial run its course? And then once the verdict is announced,
No.
have him be freed, or
I plan on going there.
when?
Oberon, which now you see what he has, and you see that as they're making their way to Woon. Now if I have to.
Said it's got good bones, but I can see it in my head. I can see you running in and making this grand gesture, and hell, maybe it even works. And then Edgar shows up tomorrow morning and tries to throw himself on the pyre anyway. I don't know if it's about the law for Edgar. It might be about the law for others, but
It's about him finding some form of sick self-fulfillment. He wants to be free from the Empire one way or another.
he had voiced something similar to me.
He can be free if that's what he wants to. He can fucking join these people afterwards. But he does it of his own volition. Not because they forced him to do something.
You're a good friend, Oberon. I think he will get the option. And when he's given the option, I don't know how much forcing there'll be.
It wasn't his choice. It was his choice to meet them simply because they need to find some form of justice. They're willing to put somebody who cares the most about them, most about their cause. They're willing to put him on the potential threat of death simply for an answer. Don't you see, T? He's there, Richmond.
He is. We are. And fuck, I almost told him that I'd stand up there with him. Then Planin assured me that anyone who's not also a Sori would likely get, killed. So I'm not. But we are their Richmond. We killed parents and sons and uncles and nephews. We killed people, Oberon. People who were defending their homes. We're their Richmond.
Not all of us have to be.
Which is why Edgar is taking a stand for us. He's being the face of the fucking party. Terrible ideas, that is. I don't like the idea of not having him with us anymore. I don't like that there's chance involved here in the verdict. I like Edgar. I like adventuring with him. And as much as it might surprise you, I like you too, Oberon. It brings me no joy to see him throwing himself at this. But I hesitate to stop him.
You don't have to. At this point, Oberon's like turned around. You see like his eyes red from previous tears. You see that like his just entire like facade is almost seemed to crumple in on itself as if he looks smaller than he ever has before.
It's a desperate situation.
Do you know that you've met Annie?
Of course.
She was not always the heir.
Oh.
They were said that when I was born, that it was a miracle in of itself, the life of one to bring forth the next generation of Claudius. And then I had one look sent upon me, and I was deemed a failure. And there was a need for a better, a more polished, a more magically refined heir. And that's how Annie.
Ah.
I was meant to be nothing more than a shield for her. But I was a shield locked in a gilded case, meant to just always be able to see the outside, but just through rose tint. I've never done anything. I was not molded to be, molded to do. This is my opportunity to make sure Edgar at least has the 100% freedom to make his own path.
I see now. It all makes sense. You have lived your life in service to others. To your father, to Annie. And even though he is technically prescribed into your service,
in service to him. And now, when you can make a choice for yourself, you're making it for him. I can't say I blame you. All right. As long as no one knows it was me.
No. All you have to do is not attend the trial. Should I not be back in time for us to depart from our mission, and should Edgar not be back either,
I'll send the message.
I want you to know I have another letter. And he's going to pull out one that he spent. You can tell it's not exactly brand new, but it is like not old. This is as much of an official Claudius seal as I have. It's at least for a small lump sum that would at least hopefully be able to help get your parents.
You don't have to do that.
I'm asking you to potentially call in a war. This is the barest kindness that I could humanly give you.
You're more human than you think you are. And she'll give him a hug.
You just feel like, kind of like that feeling of when you're hugging somebody and silent tears.
She'll squeeze him tight because she knows he doesn't get many hugs. And then she'll let him go. I hope to fuck I don't have to make good on this.
Me neither. I want your honest opinion. Do you think I should wait and leave when Edgar does? Or go now?
I don't think that you'll outrun him there. And I think if he shows up in the middle of it, he's going to try to stop you. But I also think if he doesn't see you return tonight, he's going to try to find you.
I'll just have to make sure that I arrive just in time then.
Do me a favor. Don't get yourself killed.
On that, I promise.
Good.
Do me a favor.
What?
Do you remember the directions to the campsite? I would be able to follow him there, but if I had a general idea.
I do. She'll give him rough directions. You're an idiot, but you're an idiot with a massive heart.
I try my best. Oh, I need to get wounds set up for tomorrow.
Yes.
At that, You've come up to the house. Woon is still patiently sitting out front. He starts wagging his tail, though, when he sees you two approaching.
Yeah. I'm going to, like, make sure that, like, I, like, grabbed a water bucket or something and set it in front of him and take out a ration or two and just, we've got a hell of a mission tomorrow, boy.
T will give him some scritches.
And I think with that, we can let the others in.
All right. Well, now that we've had that happen, I assume everyone's just going to retire to their rooms and have a very good and peaceful night. Good night's sleep, no tossing or turning or nightmares or staying up late pondering life decisions kind of thing.
T's gonna stay at the bar for a bit and then go to bed.
He needs a drink.
Oberon just spends some time. I'll message you real quick, Jack.
Alice is suffering.
I am suffering, and it's Trey's fault, and he knows it.
I know.
If it makes you feel any better, I pictured after that scene, like right before that one, when everyone's out of the room except for Tauros and Esta, the only person he doesn't know how to talk to, he's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna go to my room, I guess."
Okay. Oh, you know what that's supposed to be. I know I misspelled it, but
Yep, I get you.
okay. All right.
Alrighty. Okay, so it's the next day. Luckily, throughout the night, there was no alerts from Woon. No one attempted to break in to the home of the child that you guys are going to be escorting. What's everyone's plan as they get up?
What were you doing, Edgar?
Oh, we got some options here. What is Edgar gonna do? Edgar is going to be a good teammate, and he's gonna wait for everybody.
Okay.
Edgar was up bright and early. He had a plan initially to just book it to go see Planin himself, but he's like, nope, that might not be a good idea.
All right. So I'm assuming you all like just meet up in the common room of the inn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
I'm assuming it's pretty damn early. I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
it's like crack of dawn. Not really a whole lot of people. Like, there's some people who were like early risers who were guests at the inn, ordering some breakfast and stuff like that. But other than that, there's not like the usual crowd, anything like that.
Yeah. I imagine Tauros, he's usually pretty on time of waking up. He's usually guys on a little regiment. I imagine he's a little later than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, is Tauros okay? Doesn't happen.
No, he's fine.
He's usually guzzling 12 eggs, raw eggs at this point.
Yeah, 12 dozen eggs.
12 dozen
12
eggs?
12 dozen eggs to get roughly the size of a horse.
How do we have money? How do we still have money?
We don't.
Adoy.
Guys, help me budget. I've got this much for my maintaining my armor, and then $100,000 for eggs.
For eggs, just for Tauros.
Tauros just has
And
sneaks
less
into each of
eggs.
our rooms every single night, just steals all of our goals so we can buy more and more eggs.
Tauros is just like, hey, I've seen an Aarakocra that's looking to go on some adventures.
God.
I was going to say Tauros has some secret chickens.
Secret chickens.
Chicken
Now
cock.
that's a song I'd play.
Secret chicken. That's too good.
Tauros takes wizard levels just so he can get a familiar that's a chicken.
Yes. With little tiefling horns.
Yeah.
Even though it
fake.
can't lay eggs because it has no sex.
There we go.
Yeah, you got a virgin chicken.
I don't think that's what he meant by sex.
Yeah, he's got
Exactly what it meant.
virgin chicken.
All right. So we all up in the morning.
Yes.
All up in the morning.
So my plan is to go ask for the trial, but not yet. I know they're going to be on a bit of a time crunch, so I might have to do a little bit of persuading. But I think just the fact that I turned myself in, basically, they might be willing to listen and let me know where they'll be in whatever time they set. T or someone who's good at talking, I might need your help convincing them, though.
I think you might be the best mouthpiece for this to come from.
All right.
I mean, you have an unparalleled amount of honesty. You admitted to what you admitted to, realizing she was in a public place, with no prompting, just the goodness of your own heart. And you're turning yourself in. I think that'll do a lot for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. We'll be fine. It'll go swimmingly. I'll try, if everyone's okay with this. He does not look at Oberon. He does quick eye contact with everyone. Does not fully look at Oberon. While you all get set up, I'm gonna try to run and let them know this and run back so we can head out with Micah together. But if you feel like you gotta start going, I'll try my damnedest to catch up. If it takes me a little while longer, but how long did it take us to get to the camp, Jack? Like an hour?
It was close to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
30, 45 minutes. I think.
If I'm not back within an hour and a half, you could start walking, but give me that time just to get back to you guys.
Okay. If you want one of us to come with you.
I think should you have somebody go with you under the guise of simply conveying what happens at the trial to the rest of your group would be a acceptable angle.
If shit were to hit the fan in some way, which I don't expect it to with them, but Essa, it might not be bad if you're the one who comes with me. I feel like getting back here, you'd be the quickest and safest for it.
Forte.
Yeah. If you're okay. Okay.
Yeah, of course. I was hardly going to let you do this alone anyway.
All right.
Hey.
So, unless anyone has anything else they've got planned, we'll follow Essa and Edgar as they make their way to the monster encampment.
I think it's like a light jog.
Mm-hmm.
Like not trying to be noticeably booking it, but making it with some haste.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So after walking for a bit, Edgar, you're just following back the way that Liara showed you yesterday. Let's see. You come up to the encampment. Essa, this is your first time seeing it. Dozens of monsters, not just people who look like they're there as military personnel. There's plenty of hunters, people who are like just some sort of support people and stuff like that. Lots of tents. You do notice some of the tents have already begun to be broken down and are starting to like pack back up, seemingly assumingly under the as a result of the warning you gave them, you I imagine make your way back to Planin's tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you go to Planin's tent. Hildra is standing outside once again. So you see her, she's this tall, thin but wiry, like strong-looking woman, glaring daggers down at Edgar. And without saying a word, she pulls aside the flap to the tent to let you through.
I imagine like as they're walking through the camp, Esther just kind of notes, "This is interesting. All this."
Yeah, they've put something pretty nice together, I'd say, considering situation.
I was hoping to clear out of here before they eventually get here.
Yep.
All right. You enter into the tent. Again, you smell that comforting incense smell. Though you do notice that a lot of Planin's effects, his bedroll, his shelves, and things like that have already been taken out of the tent. But you do see him standing there, standing at his full height, like he easily is like, over 7 feet tall. Tall even by Asori standards, and still rakishly thin, wearing robes that seem like they really hang off of his body, like they're 2 or 3 sizes too large for him. And he smiles down at you, Edgar, and says, "I take it you are ready to talk?"
Yeah, I really hope, if anything, I know I tried some shit yesterday, but I want to go about this the right way. I really, really do. I just can't do it right now. I made a promise to my friends to finish something that we started, but once that's done, nothing else will be more important than me having the conversations, the trial or whatever that we need to have when you're set up, wherever you're set up. But I know you might not trust me with that information either, because I am of the Empire or whatever. So whatever terms you need for me to get this little stay, all I ask is that I have a little bit of time to finish what I owe my friends before the trial. I'll come wherever you need me to, whether it's your new camp or somewhere else so you won't get caught in. That's all I ask.
Give me a persuasion check.
Damn it. Oh, I closed out a roll 20. 1 second.
How dare you? We're running a show here.
Well, maybe the most important role of Edgar's life.
I needed the bandwidth to send Zach really dumb memes.
Yeah.
She's back. I can attest.
All right, baby. Come on, baby.
Persuasion. Not 20.
Hey, 19.
Wait, that's a 19.
You did not have disadvantage, so it was just a 19.
19.
I was about to say, the only reason you had disadvantage was from that deception roll.
Yeah.
All right. With a 19, so you make your case to Planin. Again, Hildra is there, and she's not hiding the fact that she is not a fan of that idea. It's clearly written on her face. But Planin nods and says, "I understand you came here with an obligation to your allies. And for what it's worth, I find you to be a very honest and forthright man. I don't expect you to attempt to weasel out of this considering you unprompted admitted your guilt to me yesterday. We are currently planning on relocating closer to the bay between the Bogaig Mountains and the jungle. I will, actually, and he turns and rummages through a chest and hands you a pendant. And he shows you one of his own. It's like a silver chain with a sort of greenish pale gem hanging from the chain. Hands it to you and says, "This is a item that we can use to send messages to each other from afar. However, it will also, the bearer of both items will be able to locate its twin. Hold on to this. Tell me when you are able to come to us, and I will be able to share our location with you. However, once you do attune to it, you will not be able to remove it because we will both be attuning to them, and they will only be able to be removed once both of us willingly do so. I understand it may be a certain security risk to have almost effectively constant divination working upon yourself, but I assure you, only I will be able to know of your location. Do you find this fair?"
Edgar takes a moment. It's like, fuck, definitely not going to tell Oberon the details of this thing. Yeah, that's fair. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, just a second. Okay. So, is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
No, we're on a bit of a time crunch, but I really do hope once all of this shit settles down a little that I actually do get the chance to talk to you. And he's gonna very hesitantly look a little bit over towards Hildra and just learn more about who I am. This has been a lot more than I thought I'd ever get already, so just wanted to say thanks.
No. Once you are with us, of course, when you join us, it's going to be, you won't be a fully fledged member, but I'm sure after taking some time and proving your loyalties with us, I would be happy to vouch for you and help integrate you into our broader organization.
Yeah. We gotta run. Good luck with setting up wherever else. Yeah. And I think I'm gonna try to get Essa to just hustle on out a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
As we're walking back, Essa does ask, so you're going to go through with the trial after all?
Yeah, I think I am. I honestly don't know if it'll be better if I just get executed or work for them, Essa. I think they're good people. I really do. But I don't, and I know you know this better than anyone. I don't want to have to feel like I'm making decisions that aren't my own because I'm doing what they want me to.
I understand that fully. Trust me, more than anyone, I think. At least amongst our group. They seem trustworthy, though, from the brief moment I spent there. I don't believe that they'll... I don't think he'll be forced to do anything uncouth, hopefully. I just want to say that I'll stick by your side. Trust me, this group's kind of all I got at this point. So So if you're going to go wildly into dashing into their arms, I'll be right there beside you. Just know you're not alone in this. We're all dealing with this.
I really appreciate that, Essa.
I have one more question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
Why only put the blame on yourself? Why not tell them about us? I know it's not want to get in trouble, but...
It makes a lot more sense now why my mom just kept telling me every single day, whenever, that it's not up to the Empire, it's not up to some form of power to decide who is and who is not worthy of being considered a person. And it's something that she told me from a really young age, that everyone deserves that chance to live, that chance to be loved, that chance to be a part of something. And I knew that going into Fort Durgan. And I still did what we did. I don't know what your life was like and everything that you were taught, but I know damn well the Empire doesn't teach people that lesson. And so I don't blame any of you for what happened there. But I still, every night to this point, feel like I should have done better. Because I knew better. And that's been rough to live with.
So as you all two are like discussing this, I'm going to say that you're still like kind of having this conversation, walking through the camp. Suddenly you hear a commotion from the outer rim of the camp. And you hear them saying, "An elf, there's an elf." As the commotion is spreading up, an Asori guard runs past you towards Planin's tent. He is kind of in a hurry, but he's not like... No, you haven't heard any cries of battle, haven't heard any like thing like that.
So he's running past us currently?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to call out to him and go, "What's going on?"
He looks back at you and says, "An elf has appeared and wishes to speak with Master Femora."
I'm gonna grab us and say, "Let's get a little out of sight, but be able to see what's happening."
Yeah.
So, Planin emerges from the tent, and as he does, he begins walking towards the source of that commotion. If you all are kind of like continuing along but trying to keep out of sight, you'll see there's a sort of crowd gathering around, mostly armored Asori guards, and as you look forth, you see a dark elf on top of an Elmeran mastiff.
Why?
Fuck.
And you recognize the face of your half-brother, Oberon.
Fuck is he doing? I'm running up.
So I'm following right behind him.
Oberon, I imagine you've dismounted from Wound.
Yeah, at this point, no weapons out, just like in the armor, but no weapons out. The weapon is safely stowed onto Wound, like clearly as a sign. And like even like he's got like his like cape, but instead of like a dark color, I'd like to imagine it's almost like just like a bed sheet that's like made to look like resemble like a white flag, so the color of like I come in peace.
Right.
Like
Planin Femora approaches. He has a calm face, but a very guarded sort of appearance. His daughter walks beside him, bristling, like looks like she's ready to jump at a moment's notice. And Planin stands like a respectful distance away from you, Oberon, as he says, I understand you wished to speak with me.
yes, I assume that you are Master Femoran.
That I am.
What? Tis. I am Oberon Perseus Maximus Germanius Cornelius Alexander Claudius, second of his name. And I've come to discuss the fate of my vassal that you seem to have
God
been acquainted
fucking
with.
damn it.
And who would this be? We have no prisoners.
Oberon's just going to look at him. I believe you would have been familiar with a half-elf. Half-elf, half Asori.
Recognition dawns on Femora's face. And he says, I've spoken with him. You claim to be the master of this half-elf.
He has been in loyal service to my family since he was introduced. I've come to clear up a misunderstanding.
And what misunderstanding would that be?
I've heard that he claims to be responsible for the murder of the Red Claw tribe. Is that correct?
At that, there's like a gasp throughout the crowd. Goblins suddenly clutch onto each other. And people start looking around. Edgar, are you doing anything to hide yourself?
No, not at all.
A few of them see you, and several of the goblin children begin to shake as they see you.
I would say there's a moment like as Oberon says it, as it like nearly grabs Edgar to pull him to hide, but I imagine Edgar just kind of stays still and he just he lets him go. But his hand he's very like nervous to let him go, and his hand kind of curls into like a fist.
Planin puts up a hand reassuringly and then says, yes, your vassal came to me yesterday and did claim responsibility for the massacre of the Red Claw clan. I had spoken to the matriarch of this clan earlier today, let her know of the circumstances, and the two of us came to an agreement as to what would be an appropriate form of atonement for his crimes. Are you saying that he was not, in fact, the one who caused this massacre?
No.
Would
He
you
did
care?
what-
Sorry, go ahead.
He did what any loyal vassal would do, and followed his liege's example. I claim full responsibility.
And then there's another gasp up in the crowd. At this point, Hildra is like seething. You can hear the like knitting and breaking of her bones as like she begins to raise up her armor. Planin places a hand on her shoulder, looks back at you, Oberon, and says, "You would claim complete responsibility for this."
Yes.
He's like thinking, and he says, give me a persuasion check."
Boop, 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 boop. Not one incoming.
That'd be so fucking funny.
Jeez, what is with me and 11s?
Mm-hmm. That's an 11 on the persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
He, like-
I was going to say, I don't suppose he's a noble of any kind.
Not in the way that would be useful.
Hey, you might give yourself disadvantage if you keep that.
I know. I'm very much aware.
Right. So he begins tapping a finger against his folded hands and says, "I don't know. This is a very peculiar situation.
I'm aware.
I've never met a noble elf who would attempt to shield their vassal from harm, especially one of the ancestry that yours is, since you are fully aware of it."
I family I owe a great debt to my vassal's family. And while I know it is difficult to believe given our reputation and actions, some of us do carry a monicum of honor.
At that, Hildra just sneers, spits at you, not on your person, but at,
But in the general direction.
right, and says, "Honor? Your people murdered as many of us as they could, and you would dare to say that your people know anything of honor?"
I claim that some of us do. Should the sins... And Oberon starts, and he quickly is like, that's not a good way to go about this.
Mm-hmm.
He just goes, I understand that what my people have done in the past is unforgivable. But I come here bearing no ill will. I simply come here hoping to erase the debt of someone who I owe a great debt to.
"You put me in a difficult position, Claudius," Planin says, taking a deep sigh. I have no choice but to believe you when you say that you're the one who ordered your vassal to do these things. Again, I say I've never met one of your class who would willingly admit to something that would disadvantage them as opposed to one who works for them. And that in and of itself makes your words convincing. Again, you put me in a difficult position because you come to me publicly in front of the clan whose crimes you committed against, so that I must, in some way, answer you before them. Yet you also know, as a member not only of nobility, but of that, for the first time, you see a kind of disdain cross Planin's face. But a nobility of that family, there's very little I could actually do to give you the justice you thoroughly deserve.
Then, may I offer, I would not say a suggestion, but simply a branch, so to speak. I'm guessing was the nod.
He's like considering your words and says, "Forgive me for saying this, but I've learned to be entirely dubious of the branches extended by you and your people."
Then be dubious. Would you allow me to say my piece, and then should you consider it, you may. Should you view it as a fool's errand and the words of a monster, they do that as well.
Speak your piece.
I am not above the crimes that I have committed. What I offer you is a potential I'm sure that my vassal informed you of the potential adventuring party that was on their way.
Indeed.
I have a good enough authority to know how the information and rumors of your whereabouts were released. I will put in a word that these rumors were simply dead ends and simply people wishing to try and find glory where it was not meant to be found. My word and my family's will carry weight, and you will be able to vanish into the wind from the eyes of the Empire until you're ready.
I see. Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Let's go, baby.
Just so that one happens. Oh, wow.
So that's a 12. Unfortunately, if you did not have disadvantage, that would have been a 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Planin says, certainly that would be useful, but I hardly find that would be a suitable punishment. And as we've already discussed, there's not really much I could do to truly punish you. However, I do find an idea crosses my mind. There is tell of a certain spot near your glorious capital of Avon. My organization has been investigating these areas of coalescence, let's call them. There are several scattered throughout this large continent. However, the one nearest to the city of Avon is of great importance to us. But understandably, as you might imagine, one that we can't exactly investigate on our own. However, should a group of adventurers led by one as prestigious as a scion of the Claudius name investigate this region, this area, I'm sure that would cause less suspicion. I've given your vassal a method through which he may communicate with me. I would like for your group to investigate this place of coalescence, to uncover whatever secrets or information you may find there, and to report it back to me. If you can do this, as well as discrediting the rumors of our existence, I shall find that to be as close to a suitable deal as I can achieve with one such as yourself.
Would you be able to... I'm assuming you would give us more information to go on, obviously.
Gladly. And he turns to Hildra and says, he whispers something to her. She bristles, but she walks away and returns shortly from Planin's tent with several scrolls bound in vellum, which she places in a sack and hands to you, Oberon.
I'm guessing it's like the rough shove in the chest.
Oh, yeah. Like she almost punches you with it.
Just takes it, like, trying his best to have, like, no emotion.
As you do, she, like... Oberon, you're not a short man.
No.
But she's, like, a full half head taller than you. And as you take it, she, like, kind of leans forward and just whispers, "Were it not for the blood of your great-grandfather, you would be dead where you stand." And then walks back next to her father.
Just stone face.
Inside, and then Planin says, inside that satchel you'll find information pertaining to the estimated location, what we believe may be there, and what questions we have that would need to be answered by you and your group. Do we have an arrangement?
As long as we can agree that any potential punishment or arrangements that my vassal made, should he choose to uphold them at a later point in time of his own volition, that is fine, but he is not bound by any means.
Of course. I would never press into service one who's already been taken advantage of.
Good.
Very well. Now, if you don't mind, I'd much rather if you would vacate my camp.
Understood. It was a honor to meet you. And Oberon won't wait because he's not expecting a response from Planin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Oberon, you leave.
Edgar's gonna run up before Oberon can leave. And he's gonna, like, stop in front of one. I'm not gonna say shit right now. But before you leave this camp, I want you to take a look and see what all this politics, this deal-making really does to the people who have actually been hurt. Turn around and look at the Red Claws before you leave.
Oberon just is like looking. He's on wound, just looking at you.
Turn around and look at them.
Does Oberon do this?
AC. This is just to you, Jack. He goes straight forward like he is, but you see his like head turn and his eyes go. And Oberon takes in death, the horror, everything that he's been taught was perfectly acceptable and for the greater good.
Oberon, when you look at the faces of the Red Claws, most of them are children. No older than you and Edgar were when you were playing adventurers and reading stories about the great hero who was the first adventurer of Elmera. But these are children whose faces, they don't look like they're children who play adventure or share stories with friends or go home and see their parents or families and have a good, happy life. These are the faces of children who, at such a young age, have already experienced more tragedy than any one person should ever have to go through. And it strikes you that you were that tragedy.
So you see his eyes start back, and he desperately, like, for a split second, only he's facing, like, he turns back to face you, and you see his face is just how it was when he was looking dead at you, as far as you can tell.
I just, like, nudge Essa. Start walking back. I don't think we're welcome here.
Right.
And I think that's where we end it for this episode of Dice Age.
Let's fucking go.
The nervousness, intenseness, and tension of this session was not good for my heart. This was not good for my heart.